Hello everyone. So, thank you for watching this webcast. For those who have attended my workshop this week, uh, this webcast is a follow-up to the last workshop because I actually screwed up with the recording of the lecture of the workshop. So right now I'm doing it again. And for those who have not come to the workshop but wish, because it's too full, you can watch this webcast to learn some tricks regarding on how to create an Android mobile app. Yeah, so a brief introduction about myself. I'm a computing student from majoring in information systems, year 2 going year 3 now. I've actually participated in Orbital 2014, and my project then was a Gemini level, and I created a small food app that's running on the Android, and I provided a link here for you to browse so that you can take a look at what Gemini level would be. Yeah, so let's take a look at my what I have done with my partner. Yeah, so what we did last year was we created this Android mobile app that runs on is able to connect with Google, and this is the website that we created using Wix, uh, so that people can actually come here and get the app by downloading it. So I'll recommend using Wix if you need just a simple website to host the downloading of the app. And basically when you go to this, right, we just we use a Google Drive link so that trusted users will come and download this app. But unfortunately that time we didn't actually go to Play Store to pay for the fee to host our app, because it was a short project then. Yeah, it's a 3 month thing, so we didn't actually like thought of actually going to Play Store and set our app there. Yeah, so Wix is actually a very good platform for you to do such things like distribute your app, and the whole and Wix is very is free, so you can actually go and use it to distribute app when you have finished lah. Okay. So that's it about myself, and the objective of me present of this workshop is actually to introduce what is Android to you, introduction to Android development as well, and most importantly, this session is actually the most important, to share with you some tips and tricks so that you won't go through the same pain that I had when I was figuring out how to create an Android mobile app with my friend. So this part is more of the fluff stuff, and this part is more of the skills that you need to develop Android native app. So my content for this webcast is actually about Android and comparing about creating a hybrid mobile app versus a native mobile app. It's okay that if you don't understand what is a hybrid or native app, because at this point in time it's better that if you have full knowledge, it's okay that you don't know about them, so that but I will explain it more on it later. And also the setup of Android Studio for Android mobile app creating, and also about creating an app, and lastly the tips and tricks. So the picture on the right is actually the the iconic symbol of Android. So when you see this robot, right, it's actually representing Android. Okay, about Android. Android is actually a mobile apps under Google and is developed to suit smartphones and to run on tablets as well. TVware also actually can run. And recently there's Google Watch, Apple Watch. I mean Apple Watch is running on iOS of course. Wearables they call it, these gadgets for watches. Yeah, so currently the trend now is that Android is more and more widely spread across gadgets. So it'll be a good time for you to actually learn about how to do Android mobile app. So where can we find Android apps? Uh, for under Google, there's this app called Play Store. It's the place where Android users download Android apps. And developers also release the Android apps on this app, Play Store. So this is the place where you find the right users for your Android mobile app. Yeah. So if you let's say you are interested in developing a app, right, you can actually release your app through Play Store. I'm not sure whether they still charge now, but during the time when I checked, it's around 19 to 30 plus dollars. So you can go and find out when if you think your app is good enough to go onto the store, okay, for people to download. And one reasons why to create Android is actually because the, the users numbers is in billions. Okay, so it's actually if you want uh, to reach out to a large group of users, app users to let's say to your business or anything, you can actually think about creating an Android app or say the iOS app also quite right now is the mobile app era, I would say. Yeah, and Android has this very interesting tech villa thing, which they name their releases for Android starting from as food. So you can see from this side, right, it actually started from C all the way to L. Currently is in Lollipop, Android 5.0. So it has come a long way, and Android Lollipop right now has improved a lot in terms of UI UX compared to its KitKat. So and the highlight of Lollipop right now is actually material design. So if you're interested, right, you can actually go type Lollipop and material design. You under the developer section, right, you can actually see the change what's the UI focus right now, so that you can get an idea especially when you are designing your app, like your UI, your UX. Yeah, UI meaning user interface, UX user experience. Okay. So Android, I've actually I mean, developed a mobile app using these two IDE before, Eclipse and Android Studio. For some of you who have used Eclipse before, there was a Android plugin which you can put in Eclipse for you to run and then create an Android app. I was using this Eclipse IDE during Orbital 2014, and right now the shift is to Android Studio now. It's more recommended now, and I've tried using Android Studio, and I think it's recommended to use Android Studio instead. So for your right, I believe that downloading Android Studio is a better choice right now. And Android Studio has been updating, although it has been quite new. So and it runs on Gradle, right, instead of Maven. So for some of you who are not sure what I'm talking about, it's okay. Just use Android Studio, okay? Hybrid or native. So earlier I was talking about this. It's okay that if you don't know what I'm talking about right now, you can go find out later, or perhaps but it's more for those who have actually programming language or come into mobile app development before. So what is hybrid and native? Hybrid app is actually you can create mobile hybrid app using HTML5, CSS, etc. But for native mobile app is actually pure Java and a little bit of XML, I would say. So for people who are not familiar with or I totally have no idea about Java language, right? You tend to want to and have knowledge in HTML5 and CSS, which is very common because of web development. You will tend to want to want to create a hybrid app. But there are pros and cons to hybrid app. But in this workshop, right, we'll focus on creating a native mobile app simply because I think that Android creating a native mobile app gives you more graphic control and it's easier to modify changes. I mean, modify some of the stuff that you want to display on your phone, etc. For example, like a simple string in text view, right, could require some work in HTML, a lot more effort to code in hybrid app. But for native app, for example, you want to bold a single text or a single string, it's much easier to apply it to all the uh, activities and etc. Yeah, but if you do not know what is a hybrid or native app, just know that you are learning. It's better to create. I in this recording will be about creating a native Java app. But the IDE for Android Studio is you can create Android mobile app. I mean hybrid or native through Android Studio as well. But today I'll be discussing on how to create a native mobile app using Android Studio. This slide is actually a summary of the different pros and cons of the of the pros of native, hybrid, and mobile web apps. So I was saying that creating native app is the focus of today. But you can, if you're interested, you can actually look at this slide and then try to understand. You want to tell what's the difference between native and hybrid. And there's also another, it's also mobile web apps. Yeah. So you can take a look at this slide and see if you can understand it. Like if you don't, it's okay. Yeah, so setup of Android Studio. So I was saying that I was talking about Eclipse earlier. If you do not know Eclipse is good, just go and download Android Studio. It's free. Yeah, it's the main IDE that Android developers use right now to create Android mobile app. Yeah, and it's quite good also. It's free, so just go and download through this web. There's step-by-step basics on how to install the app. Whether you are running Windows or Mac, they have different version, and I've tried both versions already. The only difference is just the hotkeys. The hotkeys. Mm, some of you may run into some problems like installation problems like for example you're not having the correct environment variables in your computer or laptop to point to the Java development kit. So this is very common, especially for those without any developer experience. So don't worry about it. Just go to java.com and then go download the relevant JDK version. Android Studio will prompt you uh, after your setup if you don't have the correct Java development kit, which they call JDK. So and if you really have problems regarding the setup, you should go and Google uh, after looking at the error. Google the error and then see how to solve it. Yeah. So after your setup of Android app, right, they actually have through this link, right, you can actually see some of the they actually teach you how to create your first app. So let's take a look. So this is how the Android developers website is. So some tips for you is to actually, for me, right, is that don't be lazy. Spend the first 2 weeks learning how to build a small Hello World app lah, building our first app, and it's very step by step. I actually start learning the code Android app by going through the steps here. Exercise, it's not exercises like yeah, it's here you can see, right, getting started. Getting started is actually the setup, along which is your building your app, some of the adding the action bar, some of the other Android mm, learning points. So you can it's all here like, it's very comprehensive. So let's take a look, see what you need and learn accordingly. You cannot learn everything for just 3 months, and it's impossible for me to tell you how to code a native mobile app in this 2 hours, short 2 hours thing workshop, which I already shared during the last workshop. Yeah, so go and learn how to create Android project, etc. So it's very step by step here. Yeah, but nevertheless, I will still run through how to create a project in using Android Studio later. Okay, so yeah, this is a very comprehensive website. So I really recommend for those of you who are interested to create an Android mobile app. Okay. So my first app, there's 3Ds created by that's being emphasized by Android Google, which is design, develop, and distribute. Design meaning the how you want the app to look like, what is the thing that you want to convey to your users, your app users, like how the how maybe for example a very clear cut is like how where you want to do you need a button for certain feature, where do you want to put the button at, is the button relevant, activity flow, like for example transition from one screen to another screen activity, and following which after you have the idea, the blueprint in your mind already, then you try to develop it. When we say develop, coding or creating image assets, like for example how the background should look like, what kind, the kind XML files you develop. Yeah, and then after the development the whole app, right, you distribute the APK file, whether you release it through Play Store or you just generate the APK file of your project, which is the output of your whole project, right? It is the file extension is APK lah. So you just distribute it, whether like how I did in Orbital 2014 through a web hosting site, through a web, and distribute via some Google Drive, um, other file sharing web services. Yeah, but this 3Ds, right, is actually happening. I would say the first 2D, right, you always keep revolving around these two ones. So it's not say like you design then you develop, distribute. It's not a waterfall approach. It's actually a concurrent one, both. So you design already, then you develop. Then you realize something could be done better, then you go and design again, then you develop. It's a cycle, I would say. So when after you finally finish, I believe this will hold true for your 3 months, because it's unlikely that you distribute and afterwards you come back and you design develop, but which is the, I would say, the industrial practice. Like they will release, the app users collect feedback, and then they will redesign 1.1 and develop, yeah, then release version 1.1 compared to its previous 1.0 or something like that. So but I would say you usually design develop, then you distribute. Yeah. So I'll be going through two app exercises. One is Hello World, Hello Android World. The other one is a GPA calculator. This is an app that I created during the workshop days morning. Yeah, I spent the morning coding a simple GPA calculator so that you can see how the code, see my code and uh, apply it to your Orbital project if it's applicable. Yeah. So before you start, right, you think about, like I said earlier, think about what you want to communicate to your app user. Then after which, you think about what interface the user would like. Then after that, you think about your user experience design. I would say the first pointer, right, is the most important one. Think about why you create this app. Then after you have the clear idea of why you want to create this app, right, then you go and design the interface. After which you think about the user experience. Yeah. Great. Not everything requires an app. Some because an app is, you think about why do you need an app first before it's really developed. Not yeah, more of the business prospect. Like why do you want to create app for? Is it to send a message for users to maybe you want to create a chat app or something like that. Now think about what you want to create first. Why you want to create? Okay, hello Android world. Let's start into the Android world. Okay. Okay. So when you first start Android app, Android Studio, right? Okay. Okay. Just to run through this, the Android Studio symbol. So you click on it. Yeah. Let it run for a while. Yeah, this is the place that you can see. So normally you start a new project. Yeah. Later I'll upload the GPA calculator project so that you can take a look. And when so instead of starting a new project, you can open the GPA calculator project and see the code lah. Next, for now, we just want to start a new Android Studio project. So when you start a new project, the window will open and then it will ask for your application name. Then after which, this is your company domain, the package name, the project location. So if you notice, right, your application name is essentially your app's name. So you see, yeah. So normally at the front would be your name, your username. Yeah, but you can create anything that you like. Maybe I will create if I create orbital.com. Yeah. So the Android Studio, right, will actually use your application and company domain, right, to generate a package name for you. You see below is auto generated. Yeah, and then if you want to save where, choose your project location, yeah, just do accordingly. And for people with GitHub background, right, it's good that you use you will be able to integrate GitHub with it for version control. Yeah, but for those of you who don't have GitHub, it's okay. But I strongly recommend you all to learn GitHub. It's a very good thing for developers to know. Yeah, so we are okay. Let's go. Okay, then you ask you for your target Android devices after you click next. Like I said earlier, Android devices, there are a lot of versions, right? Let me show you in recap. Yeah, this pictures. So just now, right, Android still asks you for target users. It's actually asking like which version onwards you want to start creating. The lowest is 1.5, the highest is 5.0. But this is API, I think this API 22, the latest is API 22. Yeah. So the minimum is recommended is ice cream sandwich, which is ice cream sandwich is here. Normally people wouldn't want to go beyond honeycomb all the way to cupcake. Like like subscribe to every single platform, right? Every single release, right? No, because the number of people using cupcake to honeycomb is very limited, very minimal. There's essentially no point for you to go way below that. So usually we uh, go so we just go according to the recommended ice cream sandwich, which is 4.0 up to 5.0, because let's say you want to cater to cupcake, right? There's a lot of support libraries that you need to insert into your project for under dependency, and it's very hard to ensure that the whole app, right, will, because when you go back to older APIs, right, the new methods you cannot use. Yeah, so it's harder also. But I will suggest that you just start from ice cream sandwich all the way to lollipop. So after you have determined the API ice cream sandwich API 15. Actually here there's a help me choose. You can take a look at the distribution of people. Highest is lollipop, lowest is for you. Yeah. So let's say want to cater to TV app or web or even Google Glass. You can do so also. Like this window. Yeah. So right now it actually prompts you on adding an activity to mobile. Activity, um, I'll describe a bit about activity later, because right now telling you what is an activity has no meaning. So what I'm saying here is we create there's a sort of a few choices for you to choose, like a blank activity, fragment. Okay, you take it as a blank activity is this screen, with fragment is this blue thing, which later I'll explain a bit more. And full screen activity for your video, to watch a video, that kind of app, or view your gallery app for pictures, or even a map, Google Maps activity, Google Play services, etc. And usually what we do, right, this one, the navigation drawer activity is very popular. If you are Android user, you will realize that every single app right now is implementing the navigation drawer to organize the main feature buttons, right? And then in their Android app. And below is, yeah, not very used. Not very used. This is a statics activity. Yeah. So it's a, yeah, not like this. So right now, for illustration purpose, I'll just add a blank activity. Click that. So the very first activity, right, you just name it as your main activity. Do not change it. You do not until you are creating the next activity, unless you are creating a next activity. So this is the top activity, the very first activity. So usually we don't change this at all. Yeah, but if you want to change is okay lah. But we usually don't change it because we want to indicate that it's actually the first activity that the user launches when you open the app. Yeah, this is a convention. So after that you click finish, and it should run. It's running right now, despite there's a lag. Okay, Android Studio is using Gradle plugin. Gradle to build. Gradle is a compiler to build your project. Yeah, and to compile all your dependencies, everything. Basically, is the 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 person to help you to do everything besides you coding. Mm. So it gives you a tip of it. Antizen is actually very useful. You learn a lot of hotkey tricks by this place. Yeah. Some of the hotkeys I can show you later. Yeah, so this is the Android Studio, how it looks like when you're inside a project. Yeah, very messy with a lot of window, but it's actually okay. Okay, so right now there's actually some problems. So I just explained a bit about the Windows part. So right now, right, yeah, this is the editor window from here all the way to here. How do I tell you? Click on this main activity Java file. Yeah, this is essentially the editor window. Beside is the structure folder window. You can click your project. Yeah, inside your app, your Java, your resources file, your manifest. Yeah, and your Gradle scripts. Basically, this is the thing that tells Gradle what to do when you import projects or build projects. Yeah, you can take a look. I wouldn't suggest Android beginner to meddle with the Gradle scripts because um, Gradle actually syncs all the changes. When you change, right, it actually rebuild again. It will prompt you to sync it. For example, uh, yeah, for example, right. Okay, the build, like I say, right, this is the main thing that tells how Gradle builds your project. So earlier on, the window that we had mentioning what is the minimum target users API is here. You can actually double click on it to go to full screen. So compile SDK version 22.15 lowest. Yeah, this is the app's ID. Yeah, for others, if you're interested, go and Google what it means. Just type Android, then whatever you don't know, just click it. It's very useful. I always do that when I see something like some code that I don't know. This part is more important. It is the dependencies that is the what you tell Gradle to help you compile the dependencies in order for your project to work. Yeah, so if you need external library, this is the place that you can add on. But you can do so in under project structure, which is this one, project structure. But right now, I just want to tell you, okay, besides Gradle scripts, usually I just toggle between project and structure. What the structure helps you to do? Structure is very useful in terms of finding methods. Yeah, for example, inside a Java file, right, you will very nicely tell you what the methods and interfaces etc. that you use. Yeah, then follow which on the right, there's also this Gradle screen. You can check Gradle projects, Maven projects. For those of you who have done Maven projects before, you can import it via your POM XML file. Just add it to your path and you should be okay to import it. But this one for more advanced users. So below is the message tab. Take a look at this bar below. Android messages. This is your debugger. What the log of your app? What is your app doing? Currently, there's no connected device or debugger, right? But it helps you check your phone memory, your app memory, your CPU, very comprehensive. Then there is also terminal. For some of you who are good at Linux or using coding using terminal, your command prompt, right? Sorry, terminal is for App Store. For Mac users, Windows is command prompt. So this is your command prompt. So you can actually type commands here. Then to do, this is a good way for, especially when you're debugging in partner. So how you create a to do thing, right? Is, for example, this is code. You type backslash. This is your comment. You comment first. Then you caps to do a single thing like that. Won't work. It will work. Sorry. But usually we caps. So you have update UI code. So you appear here. Yeah. Okay. So that's the main thing. The credit console. Yeah, usually credit console tells that whether your app built successfully. Okay, so let's say you don't want you close it. Usually I hide it because the screen is not big enough. Unless you have a you're running on dual monitor. So right now I'm going to explain on the Java. Right now we are creating an Android app creating an Android native app. So Android native app, you run on Java files and XML files mainly. I'll talk later a bit more about the Java file, but let's go to the layout. Now this is the layout window. So same thing, you have the project structure, everything, but on the right is on the right there's more stuff, more of the UI stuff. On the left is a palette, the widgets that you can insert. And below is the properties, very straightforward. More importantly is right now you're in the, I don't know what to call it, but I call it a drag and drop view, drag and drop editor. Because you can actually like, what's this? Okay. One trick about this is sometimes you will have rendering problems because the API that you are using is have some problems. So they will tell you what is the problem, missing styles, that kind of thing. Usually it's due to the version not correct, even though they say automatically pick most. But let's say if I go lower, okay, it's okay already. We found the styles. Yeah, earlier I was saying this is the design view. So yeah, this is the code view, which I usually play with instead of the design. But for beginners, you can actually you'll be more comfortable with the drag and drop feature. Then later I'll show you a drag and drop. I actually like to view the variables in this a bit overthinking, but it's actually good. Okay, so let's go back to the drag and drop view design. So what you can do in this view is actually you can just drag from your widgets. For example, right now we have a text view. A text view is essentially a container for you to hold your strings, your text. Yeah. So this component tree is actually very good to help you see the structure of your whole screen. A layout file, right, is actually how you want what you want the user to see. It's the layout on the phone. So currently it has one relative layout, which is the whole screen, right? Okay, okay, hello. So let's say if I want to insert a button, let's drag accordingly. Because right now I'm in a relative layout, so you can actually map the widget to anywhere in the, yeah, I can go to here, here. So right now let's say I just put the button here. So the properties will be updated instantly on the right. Just modify accordingly. But I don't. So for this hello world, right, how do I modify the text? So let's say I don't want hello world, okay, it says add string hello world. It doesn't mean that you need every time you need to type in text, you just type in add string. You always need to add string. Add string means string resource. String resource. Like it's actually under your values. They actually have this string item called hello world, and the value is this hello world. One good thing about using IDE is that they auto generate for you. So let's say I click on it. I don't want any name. I want this. I want yeah. So what it does is it's no longer it's not inside the string resource anymore. But if you were to go to the text mode, right, it will actually show you a warning telling you that you should use a string resource because you are simply using a hard-coded string. You control F1, you'll see what's the warning about. Yeah. So just take a look. Warning doesn't mean that you cannot compile, you can still compile, but it's not recommended. So let's say if I want to create, there's actually a shortcut. For Windows it's Control N. Okay? For Windows it's alternate enter. We give you the recommended solution, so you just extract string source automatically create hello. You create inside this resource inside value with the value of hello. So right now you appear as, yeah, you see the as string now, right? Yeah. Inside the editor, this text view, right, you can also actually view the phone by clicking on this preview. You see this, click on it. Yeah, you will get the phone up and you'll be able to see it. So just now I drag and drop the button, right? So this part is the new part that automatically how you create. Yeah, but you can do modification here, right? Very easily. This is a XML file. Yeah. So let's say I just leave it like that. Okay. But I cannot do any drag and drop here. So go to design. Put it like that. Okay. So when we are done, let's say modifying the UI, right? You want to compile it and run it, right? Yeah. So running is actually here. There are a few options of running. Yeah, I was during the workshop I was showing how to run, but I was having a lack of time. So let's say I want to run, right? Shift 10. Shift 10 is a very, I think for Android Studio in Mac you will have different hotkeys. After below, right, there's this tab. Usually people don't see it, they thought that the IDE is not working, but in fact it's actually working, but in the background. So you don't keep on running and running and running and keep on adding background tasks, in the end you will hang your computer. So right now you will choose after finish compiling. Right now it has finished compiling, and this choose device window will come up. So currently there's no connected device to laptop right now, it will prompt me to launch a emulator. So say I will launch an emulator by an option. You can also launch an emulator through this AVD here, manager, Android virtual device manager. This is a place where you get a virtual phone, virtual device, free phone. Just go and try it. Before you buy, right, use Android Studio to try whether the phone is to your liking or not. Then it'll tell you your screen size, everything. So let's say you want to download a new phone. Yeah, you want to buy a new phone, just buy here. Wearables, TV, everything here. Everything provided. Yeah. So what is it doing now? The EVD is creating a monitor right now. This one. Yeah. So you see your phone being generated right now. It's running. Basically. So while it's running, right, another thing that I want to show. Okay, let's talk a bit about Java. Okay, Java. This part is the part where you write a code, about your Android, about your activity. So there's actually three methods. Yeah, Java is for those people without any Java background, it's going to be a bit. You'll find it very difficult to understand what is going on and everything, but it's okay. It's essentially running on OOP as well, object oriented programming. So if you don't understand, go and Google what the link is. Explain what essentially the main methods are doing. So this is your class main method. Okay, wait. The monitor is running already. Yeah. So this is a phone. This is an emulator. Yeah, it's finished running already. So this is the app being created. The new button with no interaction, hello Android mode, typical settings, with no action at all. So we are done creating the first hello Android mode app. So if you click out, right, phone, it's really a phone. So yeah, our app is here. Hello Android mode. Click on it. Yeah, you'll see it. You want to customize, right? The app icon, right? You can do so. Just Google how to do it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So for your main activity file, right, it's essentially an activity. Activity is an object. Let's go back. Activity is actually a skeleton of what the the user interacts with. It's the object that the user interacts with. Essentially, the user can only launch one activity at each time. So if you don't understand after watching my recording, you can go Google. These are the main stuff that you need to know for creating a phone app. Yeah, so I was saying activity is actually a object that the user, every time you create, you you go through this cycle. It's actually a object with a life cycle. So I wouldn't want to go through this, but if you're interested, go take a look at go and understand the flow under the first app, please, the steps. Yeah, just take note that activity is the the thing that helps that the user launches every time per screen. So back to the this mode. So this on create, right, is actually referring to this part. This part. When activity is started, you create the activity created, then you go on start. On start, then you go started. Then you will branch out to different flow. Yeah, like on resume, you call on resume method. Methods are those with brackets one. Okay, brackets. Yeah. Then this is the flow, destroy, stop, off. Yeah, etc. So on create method, what is it doing? Uh, this method, right, set content view, right, is actually the main method of telling the app the layout, which is what we have seen earlier, the activity main. Okay, now it tells you to inflate this layout into your activity every time it launches the main activity. Secondly, we need a menu. Create option menu. This menu, right, is okay. One trick, right, when you want to branch out from resource, right, into a resource, right, or a method, right, you can press Control. For Mac, I think it's function. So you just click and you can go directly into the item, that file. So a main menu file, right, is also an XML file that you generate. So I will see that this essentially is so this is the item of the menu. So if you look at the emulator, right, okay, never mind. You just take a look at this button, right? It's essentially telling the app, right, to generate inside this action bar to inflate a menu with a button with a single item here. This is the item that is being created due to this layout. And it's called settings. Yeah. Show as go and find out what the variables mean, and you will come in helpful when you want to customize your menu button. Okay, so when I click, give here's the interaction, and you hold it, you show it text as well. Yeah. Then the next thing is an option selected. Yeah, take a look. Not very important, but let's say you want to customize interaction with your action buttons on your menu. This is the method that you need. But if you look right, the whole file actually only contains sorry, 3 methods, but it's not true because the main activity extends the action bar activity. Yeah, currently you see this line, right, is because the action bar activity is being depreciated. So you take a look. When you see depreciated file, right, don't worry, just control go inside. It's depreciated already. Just go inside and see. So it never tells me. Normally they will tell you what is the replacement for it, but deprecated doesn't mean that you cannot use or you can still use. Which is why when just now we compile it, just that it's deprecated already. Yeah, so I was saying that there was three methods only, but it's not true. There are many other methods. See which acted being written as well, just that they are hidden. See which method you need to override and customize accordingly to your needs. But how do I override this? You just right click generate the hotkeys alternate insert. But for Mac, I think it's function n. Function n. So you generate, right? You go to create. It helps you create your code more easily. Standard scatter setter, very useful. So you click override methods, you'll see all the methods being written for you actually. But go and study which methods you need to override when creating. A lot. Don't need to bother to remember what do what. When you can't remember, just Google. Yeah. Okay, so for example, let's say I want to override say I want to override or resume. Just type the method. Resume. Usually we do this automatically generate the code for you. So why do I want to on resume? If you go back to the slides, right, on resume is actually this method. So let's say I want to intervene at this stage, right, the started. Maybe I want to do some changes to UI, but I know you go through here. So I override this method and insert what I want, right, beneath this code. So maybe I want to create a dot app launch app resume app resume. If you don't understand why I type 2 times, actually it's just based on the requirement. I need 2 string and 1 tag or message. So every time you log, when you create a log, see a method, simple example. Okay, so we are done with creating. Oh yeah, so when you have created an emulator, it doesn't mean that you always need to test your app using emulator. Emulator alone cannot tell you the experience of the app user. You should also try running it on a real phone. So what do you need to run how to run an app on your real phone, right? Is actually which I can't show you here, but essentially what you need is a USB wire, connect to your phone, then go to your phone, enable developer option. Yeah, it's very some of the phones, right, may not allow you to enable developer option. You need to check out how to unlock. From what I know, usually you need to tap 7 times on the option about phone under your general settings in your phone. Unlock it, turn on the developer mode. Yeah, it's the start of the developer path. So you just go and try it out. And if you are connected, right, it will be shown on your Android Studio. For example, right now I'm trying to connect. I plug my phone to my laptop right now. I've enabled my developer options. Just give me a minute. Okay, I've turned on my. So under this run, if you click Android, right, there's this tab here. Currently, there's only my emulator, the emulator running. To show my phone, right? Yeah. Okay, so right now I've connected my phone with my laptop. Enable my developer options. Uh, why is it not coming out? Mm, I think I may not have the correct USB installer for my phone to my laptop because I just upgraded my phone to Lollipop. So if you should be able to see your new phone under this section. This is your app name. App is running. Okay, I close the later. So when this happens, it actually means that you don't have the. It should mean that you don't have the correct USB installer to your phone. Yeah, but okay. So when you okay, unfortunately I cannot show it to you. Yeah, but let's say if you are able to run right. Let me try. So right now I'm trying to compile again. There should be your device should appear here. So you just choose a running device, click it and click OK, and it should work. Okay. Yeah. You need an Android phone for this, obviously. But those of you without Android phone, it's okay. You can also create an Android mobile app using the emulator. It's fine, perfectly fine. Yeah. Uh, that's it for the Hello World example. So right now I'm going to talk about the other mobile example that I created, GPA calculator. So what this app does is essentially an app for you to keep in your phone. Whenever you need to keep track of your GPA, like you got a new module or something, just a prototype that I created. Okay, so right now I'll show the project. So should create already. Okay. Okay, so right now I'm inside GPA calculator. Uh, so every time you want to look for your Java files, right, go to your app first. Source file, main stuff. The Java is here found in your manifest. These are the three things that you usually need to look at for initial development. So just now I said, if you take a look, right, I actually modularize my files into activity and helper. You should do it so that, for example, your main activity and your activities file will try to put it under a folder so that it's easier for you to navigate. Yeah, then helper class is a helper class that I created. Will be used. Then your resource file. Uh, yeah, can read out a bit more on why is there like similar file but different file names. Yeah, And like for example, values and values W820DP, what is it? Yeah, so your layouts that we discussed earlier, your menu that I've used. So GPA, this one I created. For people with Java, right? With Java knowledge, this is the code that I have created. It shows some simple functions that we can use. So before I illustrate the code, right, it's better that I show it to you and then explain accordingly. Same issue, go to API 21. Okay, this is the layout that I have. So I want to run the app now. I put it Shift F10. Yeah, I printed the right. So let me explain a bit more what's running. Okay, so essentially I created a layout on the right, one text view, one container, relative, linear layout. Go and find out what is linear layout. What's the difference between linear layout and relative layout? One container two, yeah, and one button. Okay, so that's the everything that I wanted. You cannot see clearly. Yeah, so this is what I've created. Take a look at this is a simple layout for single activity. Okay, the phone is running. Okay, it came out. Okay, should show that real soon. Sorry. Okay, so the GPA calculator is running on this emulator right now. So what I'll do is show you some functions. So current GPA is 0.0. Enter my score. Maybe let's say I also do. There's one thing a problem with our emulator is you need to click on the button to try 3.5 credits. You can use Jenny Motion instead of this emulator, so that we can just click on it. That's right. You can just click on it. Like you can type using your keyboard. Yeah, for inputs. So let's say submit. What I've done right is actually I've jumped from the other activity to the result activity. So result activity got a different layout, but different title. Yeah, so it tells me that my current GPA is 3.5. So let's say I want to navigate the activity. Okay, you update. Notice the current GPA is updated to 3.5, but the remaining values is still the same because we didn't clear it just now. Let's say 4. Say I got 5. 5.0. Maybe 20. 4, 5. My cap is 4.475 right now. Go back again, you update. So this is a simple app for you to keep track. So even when I've made it such that even when you exit the app, right, you still register changes. Okay, right now you see the GPA calculator is here. Usually the app name don't put too long. If you put too long, right, doesn't look nice like that. Unless you put space. Okay, so yeah, so it's still 4.75. So in this exercise, I'll show you how to remember the changes in the app, how to store changes in the app. So one very cool thing is that it's because of this preference store. Some of you may find it very hard and don't know what I'm saying right now, but in the future when you're back, right, at the end of when you are actually learning how to define, you may find this useful. So this preference store is actually a helper class that I created here to help me remember the stuff and store it. So I call it preference store. So under this preference store file, right, class file, right, take a look at what I've done here, some of the methods here, and see how I do it. Functions, okay? Yeah. So I store it through using some of the methods here. Yeah. Think about what you want to achieve, the functions that you need, so that you can code them. The code can be found on the net one. So you just think about what you need. Then one good code practice is that you modularize your stuff so that your partner knows, Orbital knows how to deal with them. For example, at the start, right, at the very start, I used to dump all the codes in a single method like on create. And then my partner don't know, is confused with what I'm doing with. So it's good that you modularize it. Like for example, initiate current GPA, initiate edit text, initiate button. So from the method name itself, it's very obvious to what you're doing inside this method. So say you navigate to the method, right? What I've just done is I just highlight the method with control. I'm running on Windows right now. Yeah. And I click on it and I'll go to the method. And then I see what the method is doing. Okay. Some coding advice lah. I have suggestions that you can adopt, tips. After which I set a button, yeah. So that's the highlight of that's the main thing about this project. So I just created a simple app using just 1, 2, 3 Java files and some resources. It's very fast for you to create app. Don't worry too much. Just need to understand first. You understand and you'll be able to code accordingly. And designing part usually deals with the XML. And for this, I guess that's it for this exercise. I'll upload this project and you can import it and you take a look at how to create such a simple app. It's like the bell curve god kind of level. Yeah, you know what I'm talking. Okay, so now is the tips and tricks. This part is the most important, I believe. Debugging. So when you want to debug, right, I'll show you some tricks on how to debug using Android Studio. And Stack Overflow, if you know about it, is the place where you can find answers to almost all the errors that you will face inside Android Studio. Just Google it and find accordingly the answers, the problem, read through, and as you read through more and more errors, right, and you solve more and more errors, right, problems, you become more proficient with Android Studio and Java coding. and you take a look at how other users are actually tackling their problem, the same problem in different ways. Which one is better? Yeah, then I'll show you how to launch in debugger mode and a shortcut for debugger mode. Okay, so back to here. So let's say right now I'm running on this, still running on this app. This I want to debug. So let's say I'm crashing. So let's like one way that you can crash is through input. So let's say fine. Because it's not a decimal, I didn't check. I never validate the input. So by right, okay, if I click submit, right? It's not crashing. Okay. Yeah, okay, this one is fine. Submit. Okay. Maybe it works. Yeah. Yeah, okay, it crashes because the input is not correct. So when you faces this problem, right, you see a exception. You know there's an exception, but you don't know where the problem is. So let's say I go to Android Studio. Usually the error you can see under this Android tab. You see the tomato sauce text, which developers don't like. Yeah, check it out. It says invalid double ASD number format exception. So take a look at what is the error first. Then when you have the error, then it's easier for you to Google and find out what the problem is. Then it shows you the files in blue are actually files that you have, and gray means some of the compiled files. So let's say you click on the gray one, go to the compiled file. Okay, very straightforward. So main activity, you click on it, it goes to tell you which line of code has error. So let's say you know that this line is the error causing code, right? One very good way to debug is you put this balloon beside it. This balloon is actually called a breakpoint for you to check. Let's say null pointer exception. You want to check whether this variable is null or not. Or for example, so how we can do it is actually after highlighting the code with a balloon beside it. Okay, highlight it. Yeah, you can relaunch the app again in debug mode, which is beside the play button debug mode. Shift. So right now you compile again, you run. Okay, you probably again you run. Okay. This time around, right, you expect the app right to be slower because it's attaching a debugger to your app. Yeah, it's going to work slower, but because this app is very simple, so there's actually not much significant difference. So right now, by right, it shouldn't throw an error now that I've put a breakpoint here. What I mean is actually this. Earlier I was typing AST, so let's do it again. Okay, it should not crash, the app should not crash because it will freeze at the point of error at the point of code here. So it tells me that very clearly score is actually ASD, it's not a number. So I want to pass it through as a double, it's not possible. So definitely right, you will not go to here. So tick means whether the code has been executed, cross means that you will never reach there. So yeah. And there's a set of options for you to do for the debugger. You see this window is under debugger, then it shows you all the value variables at that time in this class or something. In this class shows you a value printed. And at the side is the activity that is running. So these are the methods it's called. And each method you click on it and you will see what the data within it. Yeah. So on this palette, right, or options, right, there's this play button, resume program, stop the app, and this part is the real breakpoints. It's very good for organizing your breakpoints. Like you want to delete all your breakpoints when you have no idea where they are already, especially when you are at a very late development. You can do so here. Can even take a picture of the app. Sorry, it's not here. Yeah. So let's say if I click play, you will continue to the next line of breakpoint, the next balloon. But you will crash. Here you will crash. Yeah, you will crash. So this is one way for you to debug, and the other shortcut way, right, is one beside it again. Dash debugger. So let's say I'm running the app halfway. Because every time you're running an app, you don't want to recompile again, then you launch again. So how Android still allows is it can attach the debugger at any point of time, at the point of time when you're running an app. So you click this button, it will show you the process to debug. No, there's this app running right now and debuggable. So just select it and you'll be able to do so. And you attach the debugger to it. You say connected. This tells you that the debugger is attached. Okay, then you go and do accordingly. Same thing, it should stop at okay, submit. Okay. Same behavior. You will decode here. Same thing. Yeah. But why do we need a long method then? Instead of the shortcut method, we can just use the shortcut method. But actually, in fact, right, this is usually meant for very for debugging methods that are launched very early. That's beyond that you cannot have enough time to attach a debugger. So this is the button for you to use. Yeah. So there's two options for you to debug. These two. Okay. This one tip. Stack Overflow, remember? Go there. User interface debugging. Mobile app isn't just about coding. You need to take care of the coding the backend stuff and such. You need to take care of the UI. When I say UI, I mean the XML file, like how the phone is appearing and executing your phone. What does it look like? How come the layer? How come maybe the widgets overlay each other? You have some problem, UI problems, like they're not appearing to what you want. So how you can debug it is, especially when the UI component tree is very complicated. So you need a tool for you to debug it. When I say debug, I'm referring to this Android device monitor. It helps to monitor the UI elements. So when I click on it, right, every time when this one runs, right, you automatically exit your debugger. They cannot coexist together. Okay. So right now I'm actually launching the Android device monitor. Okay, this is here right now. This is the Android device monitor. Okay. So on the left side, this window shows the phone, your phone, and the processor is running currently. Yeah, but usually we'll use this for real phone instead of emulator. But for illustration purpose, I just show you the emulator. Okay. Okay. So what I usually do is I need. Okay. Check out the. Okay, graphical calculator here. So I want a view hierarchy for the UI. I'm taking it's taking a while. Sometimes. I should give you a picture of this layout, the components within it. Usually it's quite fast. I have no idea why it's lagging. Probably it's due to the emulator. Yeah, so maybe I'll just explain here. So this is the only I believe this is the only way that I know how to debug. Yeah, okay, it's come out already. So this is your current emulator's layout. So when you mouse over it, right, it shows all the available. Okay. So this is the UI hierarchy. So when you click on it, right, you can see important information like, for example, the index, the ID, the resource ID is usually the most important. You see the button, because you need an ID to identify the element, right, within the layout. Yeah, you will understand more when you are trying out to how to develop some of the what is this, edit text, module credits, module score, etc. Yeah, everything in the layout you can see information, right? Yeah, very nice. Okay, this is one way for you to develop so that when you know what is what, right, you is better, you can actually understand where your code runs wrong. Okay, this is very important, which is not taught to me until I go internship. Okay, version control. Yeah, this version control tips and tricks. So Android Studio actually for version control, right? Now they allow integration. So we just set up here. For me, usually I use Git. I use other stuff. Yeah. So if you use Git, right, usually you appear at the bottom to track which version you are, which master, which branch. Yeah. But if you don't need version control, it's perfectly alright. You can run without it. Just for but version control is very good, especially when your team is very big. But for Orbital, if you are working with only one partner, I would still suggest using version control so that you can know what your partner has contributed, what you have contributed, and when you merge, right, your code to the merge result, you can it's better like in terms of collaborating, working with another developing with another person, unless you're developing on emulator. I'll suggest, as you can see, right, the emulator that I used earlier, it's not as good as what you want, what you may want, what you may need. Motion is all these are free. All these emulators are free. Go download it. Motion only requires you to create an account. BlueStacks usually for gaming, But yeah, for game testing, I'm not sure why, but you can do both actually. But usually I use Motion. Yeah. So go and download and go and try comparing with the Android simulator emulator. I think Gemini motion is a lot better. Yeah, so I'm done with the recording. Thank you for your attention and all the best to build your first Android app. Yeah, if you have any question, you can look for me on Slack. Just Slack me. I'm inside the Orbital tutor group. Yeah, and credits to Professor Ng and the Android developers. Okay, thank you and bye bye.